Yeah, again, back at the Princess Royal last night. I'll come on to that in a minute. I just wanted to do a couple of things. First of all, say, right, I put the comments back on these videos because originally I didn't want to put them on because I know I get so many lovely comments and I wanted to. I like to respond to them all, and it's just difficult when there's so many. And so I suppose the message is, yeah, comments are on, and part of the reason the comments are on is I had a very nice message on one of my other vlogs in relation to the fact that I turned the comments off from somebody who said that they actually like to ask questions as well. Well, if there's a question to be asked, then yes, obviously it makes good sense to leave comments on. So I put it back on. So thank you for that tip. They're on. Now, the other thing I wanted to say was that Mimi, remember Mimi in that last video? Well, when I was walking out of the beacon after my operations on my back, Mimi gave me a little card. This was it. Mimi gave me a card, Altruist. Well, Mimi, if you're watching, and I think you said you would tune in, I've got some. Look, Altruist. Now this is sun cream recommended by dermatologists. It's 50 factor. It's the bee's knees. Not that expensive. So I bought a couple of tubes of that. Mimi said I should be using it whenever I go out, on my face, you know, even on a like winter's day. Said the rays can get through to you, and I have got very fair skin. Now I'm not sure I go quite that far, but apparently it's, I haven't used it yet, but it's it doesn't get sticky. It's quite easy to use. So there's a little tip for you. You want to keep yourself cancer free, skin cancer free at least. Use Altruist, which when you go on your holidays, don't get the old coconut oil, olive oil, smother yourself in that and fry in the sun, sort of thing we used to do when we were kids. No wonder I got bloody skin cancer, because it is not good to do that. So a little tip there about Altruist cream. Right, stitches. Yes, 2 operations on my back, the minor surgeries I had. It lasted an hour. I honestly thought that the scar was going to be like about, what, this big. Ooh, no, since Helen's been changing the dressings, they're big old, like that one in the middle that was the one they had to take out more of. Yeah, it's quite a significant scar. So it's about 2 inches wide, lots of stitches in it. We counted 13. Those are the stitches on the outside, but of course there's stitches inside too. And the other one, which is up here on my shoulder, I think that's got 9 in it. It's a bit smaller. Don't know if they took a bit more out than they were planning on doing, just to be on the safe side. But anyway, that's been in place now for, well, it's been a week since the surgery. Keep the dressing on for 48 hours and then you can have a shower, but replace the dressing, a bit of Vaseline on the stitches, replace the dressing to keep it dry. And it's now a week, and I was thinking, how long can this carry on for? Because it's healing quite nicely. I just want to get in the shower, just have a lovely shower. And I messaged the clinical nurse specialist, Alan, yesterday, asked when I can stop covering it up, and she's messaged me back today and said as long as it's not like weeping, it looks like it's healing nicely, then I can take the dressings off it, have a shower, obviously pat it dry, bit of Vaseline on afterwards, and then keep it covered up. It's under my shirt anyway, so it shouldn't get infected or anything. So that's good. I'm looking forward to having proper showers again, rather than sort of having to sort of keep my back dry and also sort of twisting myself into the shower, which is quite awkward and not very good for your back, which is relevant to why I was in hospital. Right, I'll come back to that. Bear with me. What else have I got to say? Oh yes. So I went down to, this is slightly off topic, but I went to, there's something called Our Future Health, which the National Health Service are pushing. They're asking for volunteers to go, and you get blood tests and things, blood pressure taken, height, weight, that sort of thing. And they're looking at monitoring how people are doing to see whether we can improve the lot of the human race as we go forward, taking in lots of data, I suppose, from people. So Helen and I went down to Bromley a week ago, and we had our tests done there. All went very well, except as I knew was going to happen, the blood test came back with my cholesterol being 6.9. It's not 7.2, which it was, a few years ago when I first realised I had a problem with my cholesterol. 6.9, not good. Now look, the diet I use, the diet I have with no fruit and veg, well, I'd have a little bit of fruit, but no vegetables. It's a low fibre diet pretty much, no greenery, no broccoli. I used to eat so much broccoli. Can't do that anymore, so that's not helping the cholesterol. Although I do try and eat porridge every day, which is a good way of cleansing your system naturally. Apparently it like scoops all the cholesterol out as it's making its way through your body. So high cholesterol. So in fact, I am now just starting on the statins. Now, do you remember I was on Questrum, which was a cholestyramide, I think it is, or cholestyramine. It was a sachet I was taking every day, which is supposed to be a bile suppressant, but it had the added benefit of reducing your cholesterol. Well, stop that now. Today I am starting on statins, proper statins, one a day, low dose to begin with. Blood test in 4 weeks' time to see whether it's reduced my cholesterol, and then another blood test 12 weeks' time to see again. And then the doctor can vary the dosage of those statins. Do you know, I was resistant against taking statins years ago when I first diagnosed with the problem. I didn't want to have a tablet every day. I thought, I don't need to do that. I'll reduce it naturally. Yeah, and I did. I did reduce it significantly down to 4.2 through really good diet and changing the way I sort of lived, really. Not that it was too bad. I would say this is family stuff. It's not necessarily that I'm eating loads of fatty treats all the time, although I do have a few now, I must admit. So statins, the wonder drug. Interesting. One of the reasons I'm not bothered about taking them now is because I've got so many other drugs to take. It's just one more, and why not? Goodness me. Why not? It's a wonder drug. If it keeps your statins low, reduces your chance of a heart attack, I'm for it. I'm going to take it. So, taking that. Back to the moles then. Yeah, so moles, got the message about the dressings. And I was chasing up when my next ops are, because had the 2 out. I'm expecting another 2 on my back to be taken out and 3 on my leg. But the message I got was actually there's no rush. These are precautionary measures. So I'm waiting for the results to come back of the biopsies on the 2 they took out yesterday, and maybe we'll see from there whether there's any more urgency. But yeah, I'm waiting for those. But you do get paranoid, you see. You get paranoid, like when you start examining your skin. I'm starting to look for the first time, really, more carefully at my skin. Generally, I'm the sort of person, if I'm standing in front of a mirror, I don't look at it. I don't. When I used to, I did once get my hair cut. Well, more than once. When I was a youngster, I had a bit of hair. I used to go to hairdressers. I found it really difficult to stare at myself in the mirror. Didn't like doing it. I always used to look all around rather than at myself. Maybe I'm just self-conscious, I don't know. But now I am looking at myself, like brushing my teeth. I always brush my teeth, but I don't stare at myself in the mirror while I'm doing it. I sort of look at the sink. Maybe it's because it's not a pretty sight. I don't want to look at myself. And, when you're close up under the light, you see all the blemishes, don't you? And it's the same with my body. Now I know that I've got to watch my skin. I'm paying much more attention to it. So I'm looking, and it looks like, you see, was that there before? Oh, has that changed? You start to get a bit paranoid, but it's probably a good thing in a way, but you don't want to get too paranoid because you just don't know. I mean, the other day I was creosoting the fence at the front of the house and got some spatters on my face, came in and it was, oh no, I've got some more. No, it was just a few spots of creosote. So you've got to watch these things, but maybe don't get too paranoid about it. And of course, use your Altruist and you should be all right. Right, what else? Okay, so why was I in hospital? because I've been in absolute agony. I can honestly say it's probably the worst pain I've been in. All throughout the cancer treatments, all the surgery, which wasn't pleasant, and even the blockage I had once, which is all in the bowel cancer vlogs, that was utter agony. I called 999 then in the middle of the night. They wouldn't come send an ambulance to me, said it wasn't an emergency. I think they were wrong, because actually it can be very, very dangerous. But yeah, last night, for the last week or so, I've been suffering with a really bad back. I get lower back pain problems, always have done, but this was particularly bad. Last two days been awful. I've still got medicine left over from my surgery. I know you're supposed to get rid of it, but I've got Co-codomol, which is a sort of a morphine type thing, I think. I've got tramadol, I've got Co-codomol, I've got naproxen, all these drugs which I've been taking a cocktail to try and get some pain relief, because I couldn't get any pain relief. Didn't matter what position I got into, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't sit down, couldn't do anything. I was crawling on the floor to get to the toilet just to go and have a wee. I couldn't actually get anywhere that was comfortable. It was so painful. It felt like it was the old sciatica type thing, trapped nerves in the back, which I've had before, but a lot worse. And but what was going on in the back of my head, honestly, was the fear that it was cancer that had spread to my spine, because it's happened to a friend of ours when we were younger. He got cancer of the spine, and in fact another one too, that I know, it spreads to the spine, and I know that it's particularly painful, and I was really worried about that, so that probably added to the stress that made the pain worse. But last night I was like, went to bed, dosed myself up with, I even got prescribed from the doctor, I've got some Valium, diazepam 2, which is a really strong muscle relaxant. Went to bed last night with 2 Co-codomols, the Valium as well, the diazepam, hoping I could get some sleep. Not really, no, not sleep. Got up, I had to get up for a wee in the night. I was crawling, literally crawling to the toilet to do that. And I looked at the clock. Do you know what? That's something else. Superstitious? Oh, not generally, but I'm getting a bit paranoid. Every time I looked at the clock lately, I looked at the watch, it's always 9:11. 9:11. We know what that is. Last night, got up, crawled to the toilet, and it was 1:19, another variation on the numbers. Looked out the window earlier, 1 magpie. You know, all these little omens, you start to think, oh, somebody's telling me something. So there I was, groaning, crying. I'm ashamed to admit it, but I'm crying. Poor old Helen. She has to cope with this, and it's not nice for her either. Crying in agony, didn't know what to do. I said, look, 4 o'clock I made it to this morning. I said, I need an ambulance. I can't cope with this pain. Nothing was working. Called 999. They said it's not an emergency. They're not sending one. Told me to ring 111. Rang 111. In fact, did I ring 111? No, I didn't. I just said to Helen, oh, for goodness sake, I'm just going to get to the cars by hook or by crook. I've got some old crutches that I managed to use to somehow get into the car. Somehow Helen drove me 4 o'clock in the morning, thank you Helen, down to the hospital where I've been ever since. Got back. They gave me at 6 o'clock again. I was in the hospital, crawling into the waiting room, unable to sit in a chair. I couldn't. I was sobbing my eyes out. I was in so much pain. They gave me morphine. Gave me a shot of morphine. It's liquid form in the mouth, and I thought, oh, that should help. An hour later, I am still squirming. It made no difference at all, the morphine. And then they gave me something called ketorolac, Ketorolac, again, and that was under the, through the cannula. That's why I sent a little video of that at the beginning. And nothing. Half an hour went by. nothing, no change in the pain I was feeling. It was absolutely awful. And then suddenly, about half an hour after that, about 2 hours after we started these treatments, I started getting that fuzzy feeling, and suddenly I was more relaxed and the pain sort of started to diminish, which was actually just before the doctor came and saw me and assessed me. We decided during the assessment that, yeah, it probably is just sciatica. But also, when I mentioned the fact that I'd had that CT scan a couple of weeks ago, which was the part of the follow-up pathway scheme for the bowel cancer, CT scan, she said she looked into it, and the radiographer hadn't even looked at it, hadn't even given the results. When I went to see Danko for the follow-up appointment for the colonoscopy, I thought I don't remember talking about the CT scan, but I assumed that everything was okay. Well, the radiographer apparently hadn't even looked at it. So they did look at it. Excuse me, they did. That's not what I said. They did look at it, blaming the medication. They did look at the CT scan today, and they said no sign of any cancer, nothing sinister. Big relief there, but it did show severe degenerative wear and tear on my lower spine, which is clearly what's causing me the problem with the sciatica. So they said, you can go home. We need to refer you to the pain team. The pain team are people, I think, who can research other types of painkillers and combinations to try and get you some relief. But rather than stay in the hospital and get that reference, I've been referred to my GP. They've written a letter to the GP, and as soon as we got back home, Helen went into the GP surgery, and I'm going to get a phone call later on this afternoon from the GP, hopefully to give me some new ideas about what I can do, because, like I say, all that combination of drugs I mentioned to you earlier, it's not really hitting the spot. I need something else, and frankly, I think alcohol might be the only way to go if it carries on much longer. No, I'm kidding. I do like to have a drink now and then, and actually it does relax you, it does, but you pay the price afterwards a bit. And obviously you have to be careful drinking alcohol with medicine, so don't do that, right? Okay, I'm going to call it a day. This is ridiculous. This is 17 minutes and I've been bleating on about all my woes to you. But yeah, it's not all rosy in the garden. Normally I try and keep it upbeat, but not much to be upbeat about today. State of me, I'm unshaven. I'm just feeling a bit rubbish, you know. But don't send me your sympathy. Don't need your sympathy. All right, if you've got any questions, please ask them. But generally, just, you know, if you like it, give me a thumbs up. You don't need to comment, please. Don't if you don't want to. But I will let you know what happens next time. Hopefully, with some more positive news, maybe with the biopsy results of the latest operations on my back. It's all fun and games, isn't it? Take care, everyone. Bye for now.